What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Rich Off Gains podcast, episode 10. This is your boy CB checking back in with you guys. Happy Money Mondays. Man, I'm not doing too well today, man. Unfortunately, my Eagles have lost in the first round of the playoffs, man. Very unfortunate. 49ers came out and, they just outperformed us. It wasn't that great of a game, in my opinion, but, it's neither here nor there. We need to get rid of that offensive coordinator, but that's a story for another day. With that being said, let's get right to it. Before we get right to it, we're going to do a quick disclaimer. Make sure you do your own research. These are all my opinions and my thoughts. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Do your due diligence. And with that being said, let's begin. If you want to achieve great things, they'll require a great amount of effort. And in that pursuit and in that doing of the things, you're going to need to eliminate distractions. So these are a few things that I do on a day-to-day basis to eliminate distractions. Number one, I have setting my phone on work mode or do not disturb mode. This is probably one of the most important things, especially in today's time. Technology is such a innovative and usable tool. It can be usable for beneficial reasons for your business and, building finances and getting places in life in your career. But it can also be a very detrimental device if used incorrectly, like getting distracted, death scrolling, doing different things on your phones that are not adding to what you're trying to do to improve. So putting my phone on work mode or do not disturb mode allows me to eliminate distractions because I'm not getting notified on every little thing going on from the shade room. I'm not getting notified on every little thing going on in the world. I'm not getting notified on anything that does not pertain to what I'm doing. And that's so helpful because a lot of times, I know not only me, other people as well can get easily distracted just by looking at a notification and then picking up their phone and swiping over and looking at it, and then they start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you just easily get caught in this attention grab where you lose all your attention to focus on the thing that you were doing. However, whenever you have your phone on Do Not Disturb, it allows you to eliminate that distraction. And that goes for phone calls, any notifications, emails, or anything that you don't want to see or receive in the moment of you doing the work. So putting my phone on work mode is the number one thing that I do to eliminate distraction. The next thing that I do is I have a schedule. And I time block my day. So what is time blocking? Time blocking is simply, it's self-explanatory. It's you time blocking and blocking out time of your day to do certain tasks. So for me, for example, I want to make sure that I always go to the gym and I'm always looking at charts and doing research. So within my day, I have a set time that I go to the gym every morning, and I have a set time that I go about looking at charts and taking trades, and then I have a set time that I do my research and follow up on taking notes and doing things to get understanding and information regarding trades. Every day I do that. That allows me to get better results because I put in the time to take preparation and preparing for what I'm going to do and how I go about going to do it. And it also allows me to intentionally know what my energy is going towards in that set period of time. So if I'm going to the gym, I know I have my mindset on going to the gym. I can get some food before I go to the gym. I can wake up and just go. I know that my time is designated to going to do that one thing. And so it allows me to shift my energy and my mindset and my focus on what I need to do at hand and getting it done. And then once I do that, everything else comes second from the time block. So first we had putting our phones on work mode, and secondly, we had scheduling and time blocking. Lastly, we have setting boundaries. What does this look like? For me, setting boundaries is being able to say no, being able to turn down invitations, being able to not want to show up or not go places in certain periods of life, certain seasons of life. And the reason for that is on my pursuit and on my journey, I have to discipline myself in restricting myself from doing certain things and going certain places, because if I indulge or if I go into these places, it's not going to help benefit me in my current position and in my current season of life, if that makes sense. So for you, for example, if you like to go eat fast food, but you're trying to have healthier eating habits, then you indulging and going out to eat and not telling yourself no is not allowing you to grow and get better health-wise. If you want to read more, you're going to tell yourself no when it comes to picking up your phone and receiving a call or receiving a text or receiving a notification about a different tweet or something like that. And you have to build up the resiliency to say no to those things and put the phone down and pick up the book, because it's not going to be easy to do these kinds of things, these kinds of tasks. Certain tasks require you to intentionally redirect your focus and do something else, because it can easily get distracting or easily take away from what you're trying to do, or it can just be simply boring and you just don't want to do the thing. You want to do something else. A lot of times that's what I go through. I deal with, being bored, having boredom, and not wanting to do the task or do the thing. But I know that in order for me to get the result, I have to do what's required. So these are just a few ways that I go about eliminating distractions when I'm focused on work. So if you guys like those, make sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on which ones you liked, which ones you use or don't use, and which ones you personally do on your own as well. And make sure to just remember, when it's time to work, it's important to remove all distractions, because attention goes where intention flows. So if your intentions are to get great quality work done, but your attention is focused on scrolling through TikTok, you're not going to get great quality work done. So everything you pay attention to is what is going to dictate what your intentions are. So just be mindful of that. And with that being said, let's move on to the next thing. All right. Day trading tip of the week. To all my day traders out there, if you guys are struggling finding strategies to utilize, a good indicator to implement going on your journey for day trading is the EMA indicator. What is the EMA indicator? Is simply put the exponential moving average. In short, EMA, what it does is it creates these lines on your chart for you to follow and go along with a trend, whether it be an uptrend or a downtrend, and it gives you an idea of where you can find a possible entry point for a position to a trade. So if you see a trend line going up and you want to find an entry, you would simply use the EMA. And then once you see that the trend line is holding aside the EMA, every time it comes back down to the EMA or retests the EMA, you would look to see how the candles react to the EMA. And if it reacts in a way that it's holding, you would then use that EMA as the risk for your trade. So anytime it breaks below that EMA, say for example, you're going for an uptrend, anytime it breaks below the EMA, you would use that EMA break as a stop loss. However, anytime it continues to go up, you would just simply trail and take profits. And then your EMA moves up as the candles move up as well. So you can adjust your stop loss up higher and higher and higher as the candles continue to move higher, higher, higher. What that allows you to do is now trail your stop loss and move up your stop loss, so that anytime it comes back down, and if it's, say, for example, it breaks below your EMA, if you enter down here and your break is up here, then you made profit regardless of where it broke, because the trail went higher as the candles went higher. So the EMA indicator is a very, very strong indicator to use. Comment below if you guys use the indicator at all on your day trades. I use my indicators when they benefit me. I'm very mindful of my strategies, and so anytime I do use my indicators, it's typically a 75 to 80% win rate, just depending on the trade. So there are other indicators that you can use. The EMA, for me at least, has been the most consistent indicator, so I don't use too many other indicators outside of the EMA. And every chart might use a different number EMA, because you can use an 8 EMA, which is every 8 candles, it averages out the candle movement from every 8 candles. You can use a 13 EMA, which averages out every 13 candles. There's different EMAs you can use for different charts. So you want to be mindful of that as well, because some charts move faster than others in regards to volume, and the movement ranges between each trade. So just be mindful of that when using the EMA as well. And hopefully that is a tip that helps you guys become profitable in 2026. So make sure to check out the EMA indicator. And yeah, all right, moving on. What's going on, y'all? This is your boy CB. Just wanted to say thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting. Wherever you listen to this, whenever you listen to this or watching this, make sure you guys are tapped in, subscribed, bookmark this audio, or whatever you guys can do to support. I appreciate it so much. If you guys want to learn more about day trading, make sure to check out my website. I have a free day trading course on there where you guys can learn how to day trade and make money and be profitable. So check out www.continuebelief.com. Again, www.continuebelief.com. Thank you guys again for the support. I'll see you guys next time. Here are my personal stocks to watch / buy in 2026. Now, the narrative and the theme for the year, in the last few years actually, has been AI. However, the last few years have been about AI infrastructure, meaning we're building out AI language models, data centers, the products are being sold, and the foundation of AI has been being built. Now, this year, the narrative is about implementation and monetization. How much money are we making off of these AI models? How much money are we making off these data centers? How much money is being made from the AI products? So these are just a few stocks that I have in mind to watch going into 2026 that I think will do well in this AI narrative. Number one, we have NVIDIA, semiconductor company leading the GPUs in regards to demand, in regards to the product, the quality, everything. NVIDIA is the backbone for AI, the AI story. And so it has a lot of different collaborations that it's been doing. It just recently signed a collab with Eli Lilly in the health space. It signed some collaborations with different language models like OpenAI and Anthropic. There's a lot of different things that they're doing in regards to building out data centers going into 2026. And so you just want to keep a lookout for that. And they'll be getting income from those deals since they're building them out and selling the products to each data center that's being built. Another thing as well is they have a high profit margin, over a 50% netting profit margin, also leading the overall companies in market cap, currently priced over a few $1 trillion. So it is a very, very good stock to keep in mind for watching to see growth in 2026. It might not be big growth, but it will be some form of growth in 2026, in my opinion. Coming in at number two, we have Microsoft. Microsoft being known for all things technology, very diversely positioned in this AI narrative. They have investments in both ChatGPT and Anthropic. They have their own investments as well with their softwares that they've been developing, and their cloud storage product is also being utilized even more now that AI's demand has increased. Alongside that, their current customers that they already have can now see an increase on revenue per customer just because of their Copilot software that they have that they can now add to their existing softwares to see a even better return per customer just because of the add-on subscription for Copilot. Alongside that, they have a really good balance sheet. And last year, they didn't have too good of a returning year, in my opinion. And analysts have this stock being worth a lot more than where it's currently at. So these are just a few reasons why I believe Microsoft is set to take off in 2026. This current price that it's at is not too bad. We'll talk about prices here shortly. Let's move on to the next few stocks. But before we get to our last stock, I want to name a few honorable mentions. Coming in at number one, I have Netflix, which is a really good buy if you guys wanted to buy Netflix last year. It ran up all the way to $1,400 and it's pulled back down to $88. So I don't think that's a bad buy in my opinion. I think that we just got to wait till Warner Brothers deal gets cleared and they're out of the blue with that. And they clear that deal and they get acquisition from that deal. The next stock I have is Google, TSM, and Visa. Google's doing really well. It had a run up late last year, and I don't like the prices at now. If it came back down a little bit lower, I definitely would recommend buying. It can still run off and do a lot more, just given that it's positioning itself to be a competitor towards NVIDIA when it comes to the TPU product that they're creating and the data centers, and also Gemini, its own language model that they have to compete with ChatGPT. TSM is the shovel to the gold when it comes to semiconductors and AI chips. They create all the chips for NVIDIA, AMD, and Apple, which is really, really cool. And they also had a really good year last year, really good returning year last year. I think that if they come down a little bit lower, I definitely would recommend buying that stock as well. Visa is self-explanatory in my opinion. It's a really good company. It's cash flowing, doing really well. It's a stock worth looking into. But lastly, we have Meta. Right now, Meta is just considered an ad company, which, they make a lot of their revenue and money from ads. However, They are positioning themselves well when it comes to building out the data centers early, when it comes to augmented reality and building out the augmented reality space, also buying out the company that was developing data centers as well. Meta's doing all the right things with their free cash flow that they have when it comes to making the right investments to position themselves to be a very, very strong competitive force in the coming years. The products that they're creating, like the Meta glasses and the VR glasses, are very cool as well. Those have not been profitable just yet. They're still working on improving and getting the products better, but as those continue to improve, they will become profitable products as well. And just the flow it's had the last few years, it's been moving up. It's moved up significantly the year prior to 2025. So 2024 moved up pretty significantly. 2025 was a flat year, same as Meta or Microsoft. And so for 2026, I just think that it has a very good possible run if they can report better improvement from their products that they're putting out, the data centers, and just the flow of cash that's coming in from running ads. I think the ad business is always going to do well, but how well is that doing now that AI is being utilized on that side? Is there a change? Is there improvement? Those are things that investors are going to keep a lookout for when it comes to Meta. But even then, Meta's still a really good cash flowing company. So the prices I would say buy all these stocks at. For NVIDIA, if you can get the prices as low as 136.82, that is a load the boat price if we can get back down to that price. However, if we can't get down to that price, the next target price I would look to buy it at would be around 168. I think that's a good buy price for NVIDIA. For Microsoft, if we can get down to 411, that is the load the boat price for me. And 464 to 468 range, it would be a good buy price in my opinion. And then for Meta, current prices that it's at currently are not too bad. If we can pull back towards 621, I would say that's a good buy price as well. And then if we can get down to 560 and 97 cents, that is a load the boat price for me. So these are just a few of my target prices for these three companies. All three of them are really good companies. They all are positioned to do really well in 2026 and the years to come, of course. This is just my predictions for 2026 on what I think companies will do really well for the year. Micron has been running off really well. That is another company that I would say watch. Other than that, I don't have any other companies that I can think of at the moment that I would say keep an eye out for. Those are the ones that I would definitely say watch. But Netflix is a very interesting one for me. I think that Netflix just we need to see where this Warner Brothers deal goes before we make the move to buy Netflix. If they are able to acquire Warner Brothers, I do think that it will be a beneficial add. I was doing a lot more research on the particular acquisition. I think that their benefits from Warner Brothers would be HBO Max subscriptions. They can bundle deal HBO Max and Netflix. Another thing is their studios that Warner Brothers has built in LA. They have a few hundred acres of land out there that they can build, or that they've already had built out, and Netflix doesn't have to go through the process of building because they already have that, and they can use those studios to their advantage when it comes to making more content, which can in return produce more return on investment. So I just think that the Warner Brothers deal, if it goes through, because it's going to come down to whether or not they get pursued as a monopoly when trying to acquire that company, and if they are successful in that case, then they will lose more market share a little bit, just because they'll have to come out of more money. In the time being, I know that over time they'll still do well, but in the time being, if they lose that case and they are not allowed to acquire Warner Brothers, they'll come out of more pocket for not only the lawyer fees, but also the breakup fee that they have to pay Warner Brothers if they're not able to secure the deal. So hopefully it works out. If it does work out, I do think that the stock will go up. I think the stock will go up regardless, but it will take a little longer for the stock to move up if and after they lose that kind of case when it comes to the market, the monopoly. So that's the lesson as well. I want to make it a goal in life to build up enough capital to be able to buy a business that's cash flowing and doing well so that you don't have to do anything else. You can buy a cash flowing business, put the right CEOs and people in position to run the business, and you just reap the benefits. You're just an investor, you're an owner. Investing is that easy. Like Google made a lot of great investments with SpaceX, Samsung, YouTube. They bought a lot of really good things at really cheap prices, and they saw really good returns on those investments. And they didn't change their process of operating Google at all. They just bought those companies, let the companies stay as they were, keep the models the same way, and literally just generate cash flow each year, each month, and each week. Make it a goal if you're trying to pursue, financial gain and just financial growth and get rich, to make good investments. Be mindful of the things you're looking at. Do your research. Do the homework to make the right choices and make the right decisions and be able to see return on your investments. And it's a fun game too whenever even when you lose money. It's not fun when you lose money, but it's fun in the journey and the pursuit of making the money and making the trades and the investments, because you just learn so much about yourself, like how much you're capable of, how good you are at the thing when it comes to investing, how good you are at identifying opportunity, how good you are at taking risk management. It's so fun whenever you do it the right way. It's, to a lot of people, it's impossible, but it's really not that hard. It just takes effort, a lot of effort, so yeah. Those are my thoughts. Comment below your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. What stocks you think will do well in 2026. With that being said, I want to give all glory to God. And a book I would recommend you guys read is the Book of Proverbs. That book is full of wisdom, knowledge, and lessons regarding financial literacy and just how to manage your finances, how to respect your elders, how to respect those who deserve respect, and just how to treat one another and how to approach life. It's a really good book, and so I really been deep diving in the Book of Proverbs and just rereading it over and over and over, because I love the lessons that I'm getting from it each and every day. One of the biggest lessons is definitely wisdom and being wise in my decision making and being patient and understanding with people, because people can piss you off, but don't let them piss you off to the point where you can't function. You gotta just be able to maintain and continue to push forward. So I definitely recommend reading the Book of Proverbs. But with that being said, this is episode 10 of the Rich Off Gains podcast. It's your boy CB. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Money Mondays. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.